one thing's for sure. These guys can try to sabotage Mr. Chamisa any way they want, but one thing's for sure. In 2018, Guinness Book World Records edition, Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa was going to be in there for the shortest reign ever by a president. That's true.
Although that's a representation, I suppose, of the young people that Nelson Chamisa was talking about that need to take up the reins in Zimbabwe.
Yeah. Tino Mambeu is still with us. He's from the Zimbabwe Exile Forum. Thank you very much indeed for staying with us. What do you think about that? The youth seemingly saying that Mr. Mnangagwa is out.
Well, it's a clear-cut race. I mean, you would understand that we have got more than 60% young people in Zimbabwe and in Africa at large. So we are actually seeing a scenario where we are sending a message across the continent that the young people are ready. And if Nelson Chamisa goes ahead and wins this election, it will also send shockwaves across the region to say the young people are something to watch out for. I do not know whether the region is ready for that, but in terms of Zimbabwe as a country, we are ready to have young people lead, as we can see with Nelson Chamisa.
It's so important what you're saying. I was looking at the 10th BRICS summit last week and all those presidents surrounding the 5 BRICS leaders. And all of them were quite elderly leaders, and there was a deficit of women presidents there. And I found myself wondering, are they ready for a 40-year-old Zimbabwe president? In
Zimbabwe, yes, we are ready. I think you would have seen with the rallies.
But I mean the rest of the continent, organizations like the African Union.
They do not have a choice. I think it's not about their readiness to an extent. It's about the willingness of the people to support a younger candidate. And I think Zimbabwe will then set a very, very strong trajectory. It will set the agenda. And we might see upheavals happening also here in South Africa and the other countries in the continent.
In previous elections in Zimbabwe, the announcement of results had to be postponed because there were reasons. Apparently Zimbabwe was cooking the pots in the background.
Yes.
What do you anticipate for this particular election?
The people are vigilant. We know what we want. If by any means the election results are delayed, we are supposed to have the presidential result announced officially within 4 days. And if that does not happen, then we'll have a serious problem. The people are going to demand answers. There is information movement between the people as a result of the internet, so you would expect that things will not be normal this time around. People are vigilant. They want to see the process being folded up and being concluded in as quick and efficient way as possible.
I guess the big question, Tino, is this election, from what information you're gathering, free and fair?
This election will never be free and fair. There are reasons for that, as I've been alluding to, as I've indicated. Number one, ZEC has not been able to provide a proper, complete voters' roll. They have never been able to do that, and we are going to vote today. Then number two, the design of the ballot. I've spoken about the design of the ballot, which places Mnangagwa somehow on the top. It's very scrupulous. We don't understand how that happens. Then number three, we look at the lack of transparency around the whole system. And number four, we look at the media. The media is a tool that has always been used to rig elections. And if you want to look at the coverage towards the final rallies of the major candidates, I think the best coverage that we had, though it was also somehow tilted, came from the SABC here in South Perhaps who tried to give us, all points in terms of the two candidates.
Tino, let's hold up there. I think we have somebody on the line, and perhaps get their comment on what they would like to ask.
Thank you, SABC. As Zimbabweans, we are voting for Chamisa because we need jobs, economic stability, and we have hope in new blood. Mnangagwa was in ZANU-PF for the past 38 years, and he failed to influence change. So what new can he bring today? Let's go for the new blood. Let's go for Chamisa. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Let's go to Witness from Kempton Park. Witness, a very good morning to you. Hi, Witness. A very good morning to you. Welcome to the agenda. What's your comment?
That's not a good line.
Yeah, we seem to have a problem with Witness. We'll try to get back with him. Tino, if you say, Okay, here it is. If you say that the election is not free and fair, and Nelson Chamisa ends up winning, what would you say then?
Well, we are going to win an election that is unfair. We are going to win it. Regardless of the odds being stacked against us, the people of Zimbabwe are determined to be vigilant, to take note of all areas that are suspicious, to report them, to capture the evidence, and to also have a high voter turnout. Because at the end of the day, the manipulation of the ballot becomes easy when there is no high voter turnout. So we are relying on those mechanisms to make sure that we claim our victory. Yes, it's not free, it's not fair, but we are winning it.
For all the election shenanigans that have taken place in Zimbabwe, the country has always been considered a democracy. Now, give us your sense of, should Mnangagwa win or should Chamisa win, will the word democracy stop being just a word and become a verb in Zimbabwe?
Well, I think in terms of democracy, Mnangagwa has actually done favorably well compared to in the short stint, the former Mugabe. Mugabe was an iron fist man. He survived on beating up people, on spying on people, making people disappear. That is Mugabe. That is what he was about.
That's an interesting assessment, because at the beginning of our conversation you were saying Mnangagwa was there all along.
Yes, they were together, and all the disappearances, they saw them. But when Mnangagwa came into power, he tried to give people a little bit of freedom. In fact, not a little bit of freedom, reasonable freedom that anybody would want. The same freedoms that we enjoy here in South Africa, we also enjoy them in Zimbabwe. That is a credit that should go to Mnangagwa. Yeah. He has done pretty well. But at the end of the day, freedom is not what people vote for. People vote for bread and butter issues. That is the selling point in the
from a country that used to be the bread basket of the continent.
100%. So finding ourselves where we are with no jobs, with no medical facilities, with no money in the banks, we are really not really much worried.
What for you are the important laws that need to be repealed in a new dispensation in Zimbabwe?
In a proper and functional dispensation, I think you should look at the Public Order and Security Act, which is POSA, and IPA, which is the access to information, private. That is a long thing that was crafted around about 2005. Such laws were meant to try and avoid people from gathering and to try and avoid people from accessing certain information. So those laws infringe on the rights of Zimbabweans, and they are not in line with the constitution that was adopted in 2013. Those, of course, have got to be relooked at. Apart from that, I mean, the electoral law, it has got areas that that need to be looked at. But so far, it has not been very bad. The only problem we have in terms of laws in Zimbabwe is them not being implemented, even if they are there.
Zimbabwe faces serious economic challenges, isn't it? What is the task of the next president in terms of realigning or re-engaging with the international community? We did hear that Zimbabwe indicated, or President Mnangagwa indicated, that they want to rejoin the Commonwealth. How important is it to engage with the areas like the West?
Well, I think we are very clear in terms of the desires of the people of Zimbabwe. The desires of the people of Zimbabwe border around being able to do business or to cooperate with anybody. We do not need a policy that says we look east, we look west, we look to Britain, we look to America. We need to look everywhere where we can get partnership that really make a lot of sense for the people of Zimbabwe. I think that is something which is very key. In terms of the Commonwealth, yes, Mnangagwa has said that Zimbabwe will be going back to the Commonwealth. It has got its advantages, as we may be paying attention to the history between Britain and Zimbabwe. But at the end of the day, what is needed is a look all over policy and keep on praying to the Almighty to make sure that Zimbabwe becomes the best that it was and it can never be.
Monday, the 30th of July, Zimbabweans are going to the polls, and we continue to unpack that conversation as the process unfolds in that country. We have on the line right now Witness from Kempton Park. Witness, a very good morning to you. How would you like to contribute to this conversation?
Just seems it's not Witness's day today. So we'll try one more time, Witness.
Right,
hopefully
let's look
third
at
time
a
lucky.
WhatsApp line comment as well that I think could be coming through.
I think it's a video comment. Let's look at the video comment.
Voting for Mnangagwa, it's a waste of time. It's like removing Pharaoh and put Herod instead. So it's just a waste of time. Mnangagwa and Mugabe, they are all the same. But though I'm very skeptical about this Chamisa guy, Don't trust that guy. Don't trust that guy. He's very young. I don't trust that guy. To be honest, I don't trust that guy. As for now in Zimbabwe, we don't have a leader now. Tsvangirai was the only leader, and no one will ever replace Tsvangirai. No one will ever replace that guy. What he was capable of, he was... as for Chamisa, I don't trust that guy.
A very classic Zimbabwean reaction, isn't it? Zimbabweans are a very religious people, aren't they?
Well, it's expected of a hopeless brother of mine. He does not see the light that is around him. It is a result of the past 40 years or so, 38 years of a corrupt dictatorship that we are trying to, come to terms with, and it is expected of him. But one thing that I would like to say to my brother is Zimbabweans are very capable people. We thank God for the presence of Morgan Tsvangirai, the journey that he has gone this far, and he is the one that has mentored the likes of Nelson Chamisa, not only Nelson Chamisa, the likes of Welshman Ncube, and I think there is a whole lot of talent in terms of leadership in Zimbabwe. My brother just needs to come back to his senses and realize that Zimbabwe is full of potential. He is one of them, by the way. He should be actually saying that he's ready to save the people of Zimbabwe.
We were talking about a story earlier that the Beitbridge border is business as usual. There aren't many people going through to vote. Why do you think that is the case?
The biggest problem we have had is in trying to mobilize resources for people to go back and register. We had been promised by Mr. Mnangagwa when he came to the embassy in December that he would try and ensure that people can vote from wherever they are. And people relaxed and they could not, they could not get, the average life of a Zimbabwean here is very pitiful. Most of them, they stay in shacks, they do not have proper employment. So for them to be able to raise the bus fare that is needed to go register, come back, then again to go and vote, it's a very serious problem. However, as organizations and donors, we've been trying to get people to go there, provide them with transport. So those are the dynamics that we face. But the will and zeal is there among the people of Zimbabwe. There has been some people that have been crossing into Zim, flying into Zim to try and cast their vote. Those that have the means, have used the means that they have available. And you'll also remember that today is a Monday in South Africa. This is not a public holiday. You would need to convince your employer to say, I'm going to vote. But that vote, is not as much important to the employer. The employer might even feel that if you vote and the situation changes, then I will no longer have somebody to work for me. It's all those dynamics.
I just want to pick up on the comment from our viewer, and he seemingly says that for Chamisa, his age is playing against him. He's young. In terms of the youth vote, there's about 43.5% of the electorate currently registered that are under 35. How key is that youth vote, and what is it that appeals to people about Chamisa? What does he have to offer in order to effect change in Zimbabwe?
Chamisa was born 2 years before independence. He has also seen the same troubles that we have seen. He grew up in the village. He went to the ordinary schools that most Zimbabweans would go to. He has suffered at the very same hands of the regime as most Zimbabweans have done. Those under the age of 35 have been born within the government structures of ZANU-PF. They know of no other government. They know of nothing better, except for those that would have crossed borders into South Africa, into the other countries within the region and the world at large. So they identify more with Nelson Chamisa, who shares the same problems and aspirations that they do share.
Okay, so Tina, I think we lost the sound on your mic. We'll try to fix it up. In the meantime, let's take a bit of a break. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.